This article is part of the Opinion Today newsletter. You can sign up here to receive the newsletter each weekday. The independent evaluations of the Trump tax plan have been rough. They show a plan that deeply cuts taxes on the wealthy, causes the deficit to jump and does little to lift economic growth. Yet the plan's defenders continue to describe it as a beautiful thing, President Trump's word, that would transform the economy and bestow gifts on ordinary Americans. How do they keep making these claims? I count 4 major tactics that they're using. 1. Describe the benefits of a different tax plan and make it sound as if they're talking about this one. A group of longtime Republican economists took this approach in a long open letter, published yesterday by the Wall Street Journal. It's titled, "How Tax Reform Will Lift the Economy," which sure sounds like an article praising the current plan before the Senate. But it actually describes a very different plan, a revenue-neutral plan that would offset its corporate tax cuts with fewer corporate loopholes. The Senate bill is radically different from this imaginary plan the economists are praising. Instead of being revenue-neutral technical talk for a bill that neither grows nor shrinks the deficit, the Senate plan would increase the deficit by more than $1 trillion over its first decade. The open letter is just one example of this deception. The bill's defenders frequently say some version of, "We need tax reform." But their plan bears little resemblance to meaningful tax reform. It's akin to telling someone, "You need a new car," and then giving the person a lemon. For those who want more detail on the open letter, Jason Furman walks through its distortions in more detail. 2. Talk about the plan's middle-class tax cuts and ignore the middle-class tax increases. The plan is a windfall for the wealthy, but it's quite mixed for the middle class and poor. Some provisions raise taxes on the middle class and poor. Others cut taxes long-term. Most families would probably be worse off, as I've explained before. One favorite sleight of hand from the plan's supporters is to talk only about the provisions that help the middle class and conveniently fail to mention the other parts. Take Senator Rob Portman, the Ohio Republican, who went on Meet the Press this weekend to sell the bill. "The middle-class tax cuts are in there," Portman said. "It doubles the standard deduction up to $24,000 for a family. It doubles the child tax credit. It lowers the rates." All that is true. Unfortunately, Senator Portman left out the elimination of the personal exemption, which protects $4,000 per person from income taxes. He left out the elimination of various tax breaks that help the middle class. And he left out the introduction of a new inflation measure that will push more families into higher tax brackets over time. 3. Pretend that the future will never arrive. To hold down the estimated cost of the bill, Senate leaders have set some of its biggest provisions, the ones that most benefit the middle class, to expire over the next decade. The corporate tax cuts, by contrast, are permanent.